Hello, this is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? I'm sitting here in my dining room. The lighting is kind of weird. I don't usually do things in this room, and any minute now the 7-year-old grandson might come in. I don't know. He's sleeping in. It's his first day of Christmas vacation. Anyway, I thought I would do a very quick update. First about what I've read in this last week. Actually, it was more than a week ago. We finished reading Shadrach. I read this out loud to the 7-year-old. We're going through this author's works, Mindert de Jean, and this was illustrated by Maurice Sendak. And we really enjoyed it. It was about a 5-year-old boy. This was published in 1953. A 5-year-old boy in the Netherlands, and he's been very ill. And it's told from his perspective, so he doesn't understand how dangerous his illness was. And so he's really being doted on by his mother and father and grandfather and grandmother. And then he's got an older brother, Rem, and there's a lot of sibling rivalry going on there. And he gets a rabbit. And it's just a very, very simple story about this 5-year-old boy who gets a rabbit, and he's very worried about his rabbit. And so, yeah, he's very high-strung. He's a high-strung little kid, but very sweet. So we really enjoyed it. It was a good book. And the next book, right now we're just doing his catechism for a couple of weeks, and we've been focusing on that. And then today we're going to decorate our Christmas tree, and I hope to get the Christmas books down from the attic, and then I'm going to read him The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. I think that's the name of it. It's a very funny one. I think he's old enough now to appreciate that one. So anyway, that was the first one. Then I finished 2 Years Before the Mast on my Kindle. And I gave this 5 stars. I posted about it on Instagram. Really interesting. If you're into history or anything nautical, it's a memoir of a young man's trip from Boston on a merchant ship all the way down around Cape Horn, back up again to coastal California when it was still part of Mexico, pretty much right before it, I don't know what happened, it became part of the United States. When did that happen? Was that right before the gold rush? So this was in 1835-36. Then he spends a long time working on the California coast, trying to fill the cargo with hides, cattle hides. And then the trip back around Cape Horn, which is really, really, fingernail biting. It's very, very a harrowing trip around Cape Horn and back to Boston again. And then there was a lot of things added on at the end. He had an essay that he added on the end. I don't know if it was in a later edition. This was his most popular work. He was actually a really active attorney and politician, and he did a lot of things in his life. But this is the thing he's remembered for the most. He wrote I think it was called A Seaman's Guide to sailors' rights, because he saw sailors being taken advantage, and he went back to Harvard and then got a law degree, became an attorney. He wrote that. He wrote other things. And he did things in the government. He was an abolitionist. He was just a really admirable person. I really liked him a lot. And like I said in a previous video, contrasting him with Thoreau, this guy, Richard Henry Dana, to me, I just liked him a lot better. Can you see? No, it switched. Oh, well, Richard Henry Dana was his name. So that was a 5-star read. Oh, and after that essay that he wrote, then he wrote, this was really interesting. He wrote a follow-up essay 24 years later. He went back to California. Now it was part of the United States. He saw all these places where he'd been 24 years before, where they were just very low population, just these little villages. Nothing built up. And he sees San Francisco. He's just amazed by San Francisco. Really interesting. He talks about Robert E. Lee. This is right before, he did this in 1860, right before the Civil War. And he talks about Robert E. Lee being famous for the Mexican War. He runs into somebody who went and rescued the Donners. So anyway, it's just that follow-up essay was super interesting. And then his son wrote a follow-up that I thought was never going to end, because the book itself is pretty substantial. And then there were these 4 addendums at the end. But I did finally finish it, and they were all worth reading. So I really enjoyed 2 Years Before the Mass. And then, what was it? Oh, I finally finished last night. I finished The Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens. You know, by and large, I really enjoyed it. It was funny. I laughed out loud. It was the perfect audiobook for me because I didn't care if I didn't get in every detail. You know, listening to audiobooks is hard for me because I'm usually trying to do something else while I'm listening. If I just sit and listen to it, I'll fall asleep, right? So I'm driving, or I'm cooking, or I'm cleaning or something, and I get distracted and I don't listen to every detail. So, but this it didn't matter because Charles Dickens just goes on and on and on. You can tune out for a few minutes and come back and you're in the same place still. So it did have too many words. I mean, he really, it just went on and on. It could have ended, you know, several hours before it did on the audiobook. I don't even know how many hours it was. Oh, I can't look it up. It was a lot of hours, like 48 hours or something like that. And I would say the last 3 hours were just, he could have wound up the story much sooner. The other caveat I have to it is that there was a ton of drinking going on. So if that is something that upsets you, and I have to sort of steel myself because there's a lot of alcoholism in my family. And so drinking is kind of a taboo thing. And I mean, I drink myself, but very moderate. And so that part, there's a lot of drinking, so that could be too much too for you. But it was funny, and there's all these quintessential characters that Dickens has. The part where he was talking about Christmas is such a Victorian Christmas card. And the Mr. Pickwick is very likable. Everything's likable, and there's all sorts of funny stories and scrapes that people get into, and it's wonderful. It's just got all the magic of Dickens. Too long, a lot of drinking. So that's that. So now my next audio, which I just started this morning, this is the actual book, is The Duke's Children by Anthony Trollope. And I'm really looking forward to this one. And my next Kindle read is for John Standfast's book club, The Faded Pages. I'm reading, let me see if I can pull it up here. The word for world is forest. Let me see if I can get the cover. I started reading it, and it's, you know, I think she's being, I mean, it's kind of in my line, because I think she's criticizing the deforestation of the earth. She's like predicting kind of like a Wall-E thing, where the earth has been devastated by really bad practices by industry just for greed, and so they've moved to another planet where they're doing the same exact thing. That's the cover on Kindle. The word for world is forest by Ursula K. Le Guin. I'm kind of not in the mood for it because I want to be Christmassy now, but it's a short book, so I'm just gonna push my way through it because I think I probably will really agree with the message. It feels dated to me too. Like, when did she write it? Let me look and see. When did this come out? It just has, to me, like a 70s vibe. Let's see, copyright infringement. Where's the copyright? Okay, somehow I can't find it. Come on, tell me. Tell me when this was written. Okay, they're not going to tell me. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I get like it feels a little bit dated to me. So that's my Kindle read. And then I'm working my way through this. Now, I kind of ignored this for a little while because I really wanted to finish 2 Years Before the Mass, which was left over from the nonfiction November, and Pickwick Papers, which was left over from Victober. So I wanted to get those done. But I'm reading this. I'm only in the 4th play. Am I in the 4th play? Yeah, the 4th play. So yeah, now I'm really going to concentrate on this. I want to finish it by December 31st. And so, yeah, so I'm now doing The Man Born to Be King, The Word for World is Forest, and The Duke's Children. So, yeah, so that's good. Oh, and I wanted to do a really quick update on my sugar fast. I've been doing really well. I have been sorely tempted a few times, but I've managed to resist, which is good. I do have, like, when I get a sugar craving, I either eat a piece of fruit, which fruit tastes so much better once you get off refined sugar. You really taste the sweetness. I was thinking fruit was like boring, but it isn't when you don't eat any other sugar. It's not boring. Now, I do sometimes when I'm having a sugar craving and I'm hungry and I want something other than fruit, I get one of these rice crackers and I put a little bit of peanut butter. This is sugar-free peanut butter. And then I got this creamed honey, or like spreadable honey from the monastery that I went to. And I put that on top, and that's my little bit of sugar. And then I also have, I got this, I ordered this off of some guy I saw on Instagram. Oh yeah, I'm making a video. I'll be right out, okay? All right, honey? Okay. I'll get you breakfast. Okay. I've been drinking this tea, elderberry tea, that I got from this guy, and I ordered from Bobby Parrish is his name. I'll link to his, do I see him on YouTube or Instagram? I'm not sure. Anyway, this does have some sweetener in it, but it's like natural, like monk fruit, I think. Now I can't see it in this light. Where is it? Ingredients, ingredients. Organic elderberries, elderberry extract, citric acid, organic blueberry extract, vitamin C, what is that? Sorbic? No, I can't read that. Juice extract, some kind of juice extract that I can't read. Sea salt, stevia, and zinc. So it's not monk fruit, it's stevia. So I've never had stevia before, and it's like kind of like drinking hot Kool-Aid. But it's good because I've been fighting a sore throat yet again. Hi, I'll be right there. So anyway, I better go. So that is my update, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.